Hello, this is Ray Johnson, and today I'm going to talk about Earl Hurd, who was a silent film animator back in the very early 1900s, more into the late teens and early 20s of that century. Earl Hurd was an American pioneer in this back then very new and niche way of showing filmography, with combining cartoon-like animations as them being the focal point of the film. It also benefited him greatly with his experience of cartoon drawing, that he was able to combine this love and passion that he had and bring it to the big screen, and it not just be limited to mediums such as the newspaper. The series that launched Earl Hurd's name as a household name in this very new and exciting industry is Bobby Bumps. This series follows the life of a young boy who, like any child, has to go to school, things like that has a sidekick that is a dog referred to as Fido, quite fitting. And almost every title for this silent film series had the character's name in it. There are very few exceptions to this, such as Fresh Fish, made in 1922, and one of the very last silent films that he worked on before the slow transition into sound being a lot more popularized, being Chicken Dressing, which was made in 1923. The studio that helped make his work and in many, many ways influential jumping point for other cartoonists to follow was the Bray Studios. Later, of course, Earl Hurd, amongst other influential cartoonists, decided to have their own studio later on. But while he was working with Bray, he basically hunkered down and solely focused on this Bobby Bumps series. In addition to the timing of how Earl Hurd created these short films during the period it came out, was the groundbreaking discovery of the way in which these animated shorts were created. Earl Hurd and Bray worked together to create a system for efficient drawing known as cell animation. This would make it to where it would cut down immensely the time used to make things such as backgrounds, if it's going to be a continuous setting for the storyline, and what we would term as overlay things, such as the movement of a character on one sheet with the background being consistent, which also helped make the appearances and frequencies of these shorts more so. Say it took a month, it could potentially be cut to even a week pumping these out. In researching this amazing comic strip artist that became a very influential, creative, hardworking, short film animating genius, it is quite remarkable to spot little things here and there that have shown up in other cartoons, such as previously mentioned, the chicken's dressing, the storyline of how the chicken is watching over the eggs gives me the parallel of how in the Looney Tunes series, obviously much later than this, how Daffy Duck had to watch over the eggs because the wife was just tired and wanted him to look over the unborn babies for a change kind of thing. And it gave me those kinds of connection when reading and researching over Earl Hurd. Even the way Bobby Bumps is drawn, with how expressive, though simplistic, his face is, it does remind me of, with later works of, from that point in time, of course, Disney's Three Little Pigs, with how expressive and easy to follow with the personalities of the way the pigs are drawn. Although, as I say this, I'm sure that Earl Hurd would not like to hear how his character can be compared to Three Little Pigs, but the point still stands. I hope with this summary and overview of the impact and behind the scenes, if you will, of Earl Hurd in his life, though not talked about much now, unless, quite frankly, in a setting like this for a project, but that anyone listening would see just how even one person can be so influential in such an incredible industry in a lot of ways, especially with how much of a revolution this type of creative art form was for this time and what it platformed to become what it is today.